Welcome back to Capitol Review. We continue our coverage as the DNC wrapped up this week. Vice President Harris has generated some momentum, but the race is far from over as the race for the White House officially heats up. And joining Capitol Review is Colin. He's a Republican political strategist with the firm South and Hill Strategies. Colin worked on presidential campaigns for Senator John McCain and Governor Mitt Romney. Colin, welcome to Capitol Review.
Mark, thanks so much for having me.
Well, as you know, sir, the DNC just ended it just ended. What is the strategy now for the Trump campaign as we officially hit the stretch run?
Well, look, Mark, the vice president, she had a nice convention. She got some momentum coming out of it. She's got the wind at her back right now. So now it's up to the Trump campaign to do their best to upend that momentum before it gets any further. Look, as far as what the Trump campaign should do, two things to me come to mind. One, really force the issues on Vice President Harris's position on the issues. Don't let this become a personality campaign. Don't let make sure this becomes more about joy and enthusiasm and a sufficient litigation of the issues that will become before the next commander-in-chief, whoever he or she may be. And two, really hammer home the point that Vice President Harris to date has not engaged with any media in any sense of the word. That's something that should be insulting not just to voters, but also to reporters whose job it is to litigate and push these candidates, whatever side they're on where they stand so the voters can make an informed decision. This idea that she's going to be able to go through the next 70 some odd days without talking to a reporter, it's not tenable, but the Trump campaign really needs to make that case.
And Colin, talk a little bit about how can the former president attract undecided voters? What issues can he address that maybe will attract them?
Well, he's been at his best when he's made the campaign not about his own grievances, not about stuff that happened 4 years ago or beyond that, but about the events that have happened in the last 4 years. The Democrats did a nice job, I thought, trying to convince voters that the last 4 years have been all Trump's fault. The reality is he's been out of office, and one half of the administration who's been in charge, it's the Biden-Harris administration. So she's got ownership of a lot of these policies, whether it's energy, whether it's inflation. I saw that today the Fed indicated they were going to cut rates next month. Convenient timing. But or it's the border, or it's any of these challenges that voters feel not great about because the overwhelming majority of the country right now does not feel good about the direction where we're headed. But it's up to the Trump campaign to make voters understand how the policies of Biden-Harris have made their lives worse, not better. And if Trump can make this a referendum on are you better off than you were 4 years ago, he'll have a good shot. If not, if this becomes about enthusiasm, if this becomes about the themes of the last week, it's going to be the vice president's going to have the upper hand.
Colin, last question. We're running out of time. How will the Trump campaign prepare the former president for the upcoming debate in September?
Well, he's been through debates, Mark. He's been through a number of debates. Vice President Harris has not. She hasn't debated yet once this cycle. Her performance in 2020, she didn't even make it to the starting gate. So people underestimate just how challenging it is to run for president, whatever side you're on. It's a really hard thing to do. Only 45 people in our history have done it, or 46. And President Trump's one of them. Vice President Harris is not. So he goes in it with experience. He goes in it with the lessons he's learned, and hopefully he can apply them for the better and expose Vice President Harris as someone who's not ready for prime time, who's not ready for the national stage. But that's on him to do.
Colin Reed, thank you very much for joining us on Capitol Review.
Thanks so much.